Hello and welcome to In Truth and in Spirit World of Worship Fellowship. My name is Peter Calviland Serubide, your moderator tonight. And the topic of discussion in the next 45 or 50 minutes is titled, Is Life What You Make It? Is life what you make it? We would like to ask the following questions. Is there a difference between to have life and to live? Does living have a universal standard such that one should become conscious of below or above? How do we know? When should one start living their dream life and why? Now, this topic was inspired by two major events amongst the rest, or amongst the many events that have taken place in the lives of people world over, or ever since the start of life. One is Diogo. Is it by Diogo Jota? What happened to Diogo Jota? Is that the name? Omuchwezi, is that the name?
It's Diogo Jota, yes.
Yeah, Diogo Jota. We were informed that this is the year. Could you summarize his life, please? Could you take on and summarize Diogo's life? Omchezi.
Yes. They previously won the Europa Nations Cup. And after that, he wedded his wife that he had been with some children. And then 2 weeks after the wedding, he was having a holiday, I think in Spain. But before that, I think he had got an injury and he could not fly. So his only mode of transport was by water. By then, if he was crossing from one country to another. So on the fateful night, he was rushing to get a ferry or to board a ship that was taking him to England. And then as he was trying to overtake a car, the tire of the car burst. Now those sports cars, they run at close to 300 kilometers per hour. It lost control and burst in flames, the same style as Rajiv. Yeah.
And all the other achievements you had mentioned had happened in the same year.
Yeah, yes, in very few days, maybe in 30 days. Because even also considering that Liverpool had won their second Premier League trophy, and he was very, very central in them winning that. So it was a good year for him. You've won the second trophy for Liverpool. You've won Nations Cup. You've married your wife. But then all that goes after 2 months of achieving it.
I would like to ask a question. Did he leave? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Benson, for that wonderful recap of that history. Another event that inspired this topic is a 60-plus-year-old couple that had lived in Switzerland and worked there for over 30 years. After their retirement, they resolved that they would return home here in Uganda to enjoy life, or to enjoy the remaining parts of their life after their 60s. So they had a welcome back banquet prepared by kith and kin or by friends and relatives. And they came to their home, their house, and hardly had they spent a night here when ruffians or riffraffs, the unknown assailants, attacked them that very night and stabbed them repeatedly and brutally to death. So it is, and I was here asking, when you say you are investing for the future, so what should we do? Okay, Diogo Jota dies at the age of
25, I guess.
Is it? What was it? 27?
Around there, 25, 26.
You know, after having achieved all that, and then this couple in their 60s plus, in their 70s, and they have come back now to enjoy the toils of their youth, and they do not enjoy not even a night. So this brings me to the topic of discussion, and I would like to ask the first question. Is there a difference between to have life and to live? And if so, what could that be? I'd like us to go to the first question. Yes, would somebody like to be the first to take a shoot? Jersey, would you like to take a shoot? The first one to have a take. Is there a difference between having life and living?
I think that there are two different things. I don't think that we have life per se, but I think we are living. Me, I'm going to refer to. There's a time when Kajoba preached. I remember that day we were at that hotel near Bat Valley, and he said that the mere fact that we count birthdays and days, it means that we don't have it. It means that we don't have life, because life is not supposed to end. Life is supposed to be eternal. So even the Adams who lived up to 900 years, eventually the 900 will reach. Even if you're going to live up to 5 billion years, even 500 billion will reach, and then you eventually die. So from what you was explaining is that we don't have life because of that sin element. Like in accounting, we have what we call depreciation. I don't know if you people have ever heard of it. When you buy an asset, it keeps losing value. Whether you're using it or whether you're not using it, it keeps losing value until its value is useless. So that is how we can say our life. The moment you're born, you grow, and then you start degenerating until you're no more, until you're back to zero. Now, I would think that really in the actual meaning of life, from how we explained it, we don't have life. And that's why you see life is so short that it can just go anytime, anywhere, and in any way. The other time, there's a doctor who I think hooked up with a young girl, a slave queen, probably about 23 years old. The man just went and bought Viagra, from what they say, and the Viagra caused him a heart attack. Someone wanted to enjoy life outside marriage, but it just ended just like that in a hotel room. So we don't have life per se, but we live, if I'm to distinguish between the two.
Thank you. Thank you, Peter. Yes, Pastor White, would you like to have your say in this question, please?
Edson has just answered the question. So what is the next question?
Oh, okay. All right. If we do agree, then we need to ask, does living have a universal standard? Because we've heard this talk, the narratives that have been legitimated world over, something called standard of living. These are below standards of living. Their standard of living is low, and so on. Do we have a universal standard? First, does living have a standard? Number two, if is that standard universal? Yes, Pastor White.
Yeah, living has got natural standards. For instance, for you to live, you need oxygen, you need water, and you need all your organs and your blood and cells in there, and healthy bacteria functioning. So that is a universal standard of a living body. So for me, that is what I can give. To answer your question of universal standard, yes, there is a universal standard.
But there is something called you're living below the dollar, and therefore you're below the standard of living.
That is another type of living which does not stop the universal living. So below the dollar is in the context of the dollar. But this world is too big to the extent that there are places where the dollar has never reached.
And people are busy living.
And people are actually living, and they have been living for the past 200 years, and the dollar has never reached there. So that has nothing to do with living, really. A dollar has nothing to do with living. A dollar has everything to do with your wants, desires, and probably what you have defined as needs. So the whole thing of you have to live in the house with running water. The most pure running water is not even in the house. It is in the rivers. So that is not the living that I'm told. That's not the universal living.
So Pastor, what are you saying then? If I live in a cement house and you live in a grass thatched house made of mud, are entire living a better standard of living?
It is one thing to discuss better and worse, more and less, and another to discuss the principle. The principle is about living. The one, even your question actually communicates it. If I live in a tiled house and you live in a grass thatched house, it is living. It is actually living. I don't know why we have issues with all that. It is living. There's no problem.
You have running water, the quality of medical care. You have a medical insurance card.
Those things have nothing to do with living. Those things have everything to do with what you want, okay? And in minimal cases, what you need, because in most cases, need is actually abused. But they have everything to do with what you want. For instance, you living in that kind of corporate environment that you like to live in, okay, has nothing to do with the kind of disease that is going to attack you. Because the diagnosis has demonstrated that people in those environments are suffering the same disease with the people in different environments. So let us first of all establish living. There is a universal standard of living, that is oxygen, good bacteria, good blood, water in your body, food, you are living.
Pastor, I would like to remind you that one of the world leaders, aka Donald Trump, is quoted for having called Africa a shithole. What do you think informs his conclusion, and what does that mean?
He's comparative in understanding, number one. Number two, he has set his own standard. For instance, he thinks, Trump thinks that how America looks is the standard. Okay? And that is very absurd, because United States doesn't have food. United States does not have clean air. United States has to purify its water. United States does not have land, I mean, good land to cultivate, natural land at sea. It is filled with disasters, fire, tsunamis, etc. So really, to look at the paint and the tiles, and then you look at the bush and the woods, and then you say that the woods are a shithole. Really, let us not discuss Trump. Trump is Trump, really. Let us discuss some philosopher who have taken time to think, not a Trump. Thank you, moderator.
Jethro, are you living up to the standard? What is your standard of living, Mr. Msoki?
Standard of living. I'm thinking about that, but I know that there's a certain script that was set for us. I don't know by who, which I've been living by for a very long time, but lately I'm actually reevaluating that script. And I think I'm making some changes accordingly. So am I living? Yes, I am living, but I don't think I'm living the way I would want to live. I feel like I work too much. I feel like I don't rest enough. Yeah, and somebody seems to have written that script. So I'm reevaluating my choices lately.
Kajambo, corporate father, Kajambo.
Kajambo, so.
Yes, Elder Tom.
24 hours.
Elder Tom, what's your standard of living? Wanji?
Because really what people call standards of living is based on people's mind, the way they see things, the way they think and perceive things, really. Because when I hear Pastor explaining, the question that comes to my mind is, does living mean you have no challenges, you have no hardships, you have no hurdles to jump, or living means being content and comfortable even when there are hardships that you are going. There are many people who say because he can afford to eat Sheraton, he can afford to board a plane to Dubai, but they may not be happy. So really, besides the oxygen, the water, the God-given universal things that make life on earth, it is about our own perceptions to say, I am now living life. That is my take, Steve.
Thank you very much. Pastor White, would you like to have a response here?
Moderator, responding to what?
You respond
Yeah,
to us corporate who are not living our lives. You respond to us.
And what is your challenge? Me, I want to be direct.
I have too many things to do. It seems like my day has less than 24 hours. Where does all my time go? I feel like I'm not living. I'm like a machine. 8 to 5, 6 to 8, iTiS. After that, you're tired, spend some time with family, sleep, wake up like you're being chased, run again. 1 year, 2 years, 20 years. I've been working for more than 20 years now.
Yeah. You have two challenges, and which is actually a global challenge. One is that you are operating on a life script that you did not have any hand in its formulation. So there's a script that you're following, and until you investigate that script and challenge it and question it, you are a slave to that script made by someone else. That is number one. Number two, you have not come or even gained the ability to distinguish what is important from what is not important. So the things that make you work those 20 hours and you are like a machine, you are working so hard for what is not important at the expense of what is important. And
I'm working for my children and for my wife, and they're important to me.
Why are you working for them? Why are you working for them? You see? So those are the things that you need to understand. I am a provider. What are you providing? Someone works for 20 hours and they are providing. What kind of consumerism does your children and wife have? You are telling me that you're working 20 hours a day just to provide for your family. How much do they need vis-a-vis what they want? You're actually working all those hours for what they want, not what they need. Life is about working for what is necessary. And what we mean by necessity is something that someone cannot live without. Okay? You're working so much because you have to pay the taxes of a 600 million car. And you have to pay the fuel for a 600 million car. It cannot move until you have put in 300,000 shillings. That is why you're working the way you're working. But question, do you really need that car? Is it a need? No, it is not a need. It is a want. It is a desire. It is a greed. So you're working so hard because your wife wants to make hair, have a human hair of 800,000, which she's going to throw away in the next 3 weeks, and then you buy another one of 1 mil that has just come out, the latest. That is why you're working so hard. And that is important. Human hair. Typical Bugogwa, made in the factory. So you're telling me you're not living because you're working for that. You're working for makeup, cosmetics. The Vaseline of your wife is 800,000 and she uses it 1 month. You're working so hard because you are living in an apartment of $3,000. And you're not living. Okay, tell me what is necessary. What is necessary of all the things that are making you working so hard and you can't live your life? What is that one thing that is really necessary? So you people, you leave me alone. Do not start on me. Just leave me alone. You live your life and leave me alone.
What have we done to you?
You want to start on me. You just want to start on me. Because seriously, you let anyone, okay? Let anyone of this generation, those who are not living and they are working so hard to provide. My question is, what is that you're providing for? Gentlemen, we have all sat on the dining table and we have served the food and left that food on the plates and we have thrown it to the garbage. And that is what we were working so hard so that we can have food to throw in the garbage. We didn't even have time to sit with our children because we wanted to bring so much food at home so that they can eat and throw away. We are working so hard so that the refrigerator may be filled with all sorts of unhealthy food. Then later, we work so hard to treat diseases caused by the food that we bought. We're working so hard. We don't have time for our children. We don't even have time to live for ourselves because we're working so hard so that the refrigerator might be on 24/7 and filled. That's why we're working so hard. We're working so hard because our children should go to international schools where they pay $10,000 for transport and $50,000 for school fees. And then they graduate average. That's why we're working so hard. I think because these are the things that have denied us living. I know of a president who is working so hard that his son might take over from him and then be killed, betrayed and killed the next day. After his father worked for 40 years to make sure that only his son takes over after him. We are working so hard. We can't sleep. We can't live. I want us to be honest. How much does your family really, really need? Once you discover that, you will start toning down and starting living. Parents can no longer parent their children. They are working so hard so that their children can go to better schools away from their parents, and then later parents expect those children to turn out like they expect them to turn out. How can that child turn out if you've never parented him or her the way you want her to turn out? You didn't have time. You did not live for her. You were never there for her or for him. Why? You were working so hard. Now you have all the money that your child cannot manage and run. You have all the factories that your child cannot operate. You are now looking for a child that was raised by poor parents who are there for him or her. They are the ones now you're giving managerial sets so that they can tutor you as the ones that you ignored for international schools and kindergartens. The poor ones who are raised by parents are the ones now who are going to bring those poor certificates from poor institutions and start operating and running the wealth of your idiotic child. We are working so hard. We can't live. What is that you're working for that has stopped you from living? That you don't even have time to live. You don't have time for your children. What is that? How much school fees do you need that takes you away from your child? How much school fees is that? How many schools are in this country? School fees starts at the range of 30,000 shillings to 80 million shillings. Now, let me ask you, the higher you go, okay, the more absent you are going to be as a parent from your child. The lower, the more present you will be in your child's life. So which one is more important? A superb expensive school or you being part of the life of your child? Tell me what is necessary. What should we be working for? Should we be working for the $60,000 tuition at the expense of our parenting? Or we should consider parenting as the need and the necessity, number one. These are the things that have denied us and robbed us of living.
Someone wrote a script for us and said, you need to work hard. If you don't work hard, no one is going to take care of you. Your children are going to live their own lives.
Exactly.
You want to be a beggar in old age, bichi. That's the script.
Exactly. Exactly. And why should you beg in your old age? Why would one beg in their old age?
Because I never worked hard when I was young.
Oh, so okay. Now question. Now that we're talking about life and living, let me ask this simple, straight question. Has everyone who has worked hard when they were young, is it true that they have turned out not begging? Do you want to tell me? Now, let me take you to the person who wrote the script for you, because I know who wrote the script for you. It is the Europeans. Would you want to be in the retirement home?
No.
Say,
No.
why? Why? Why are you saying no, you people?
It is lonely. There's no living there, actually, since we're talking about living.
But the people in the retirement home in Europe, in retirement homes in Europe, didn't they work so hard?
They actually work so hard to afford the retirement home because it's not cheap.
So the script says that work so hard that you don't have to beg, you will be in the retirement home, being taken care of slaves from Africa who are slapping you. Alone in the retirement home, and no son of yours, no child of yours, no daughter of yours will come and visit you. You worked so hard for that. That is the script. You're working so hard. You have distanced yourself from your children, and you want to age with the workers in your farm. No child wants to visit you. If they don't even come on Christmas, not even holidays, they don't come because they're also working so hard. You people, you must be saved, redeemed from this script, and start living, because you're going to die the next day, my brother. My brother, you have no appointment with the old age. Life is a moment. Can I say that again?
Louder.
Life is a moment. You are here today, live today. This is why I yap everything that comes in my mind, everything that I have on my heart, I yap it, because I know I am dying the next minute. Life is a moment. If you fail to live now, okay, when are you going to live? You have no appointment with life. You don't.
After I've retired and I've made my money, I'll start living.
Who told you that you're going to retire? Who told you? Oh, you are looking at other people who have retired. Those are not you. Those are not you. So Isaiah should look at his elder brother Arion driving and say, I should be driving. I'm almost the same age. I should also be driving. And then Isaiah goes to the bank. And the reference point is Arion. But you are not Arion. Who told you that you're going to retire? We are in a life where you marry and die on the wedding day.
Diogo Jota.
Someone collapses as they walk the aisle. They collapse and die before they even say I do. You people, you start living. Living is a choice. Living is a moment. You are either living now or you are dead now and then.
The irony is you worry about the future. Today you're worrying about tomorrow. Then when tomorrow comes, you worry about the next day. And then at the end of it all, you have not actually enjoyed which
You have
any
not
day.
lived.
So
Do
you're
you see
worried
the
about
cycle?
the next.
Pastor, actually, life is lived in the now, not in the future. Because when you get back to what you call the future, it will be the now of then.
Now that one takes me to the last question. When talk or when talks conversations talk about dream life, what is a dream life? Yes, Jethro. What? Yes, Jet. What's dream life?
Dream life is another script, I think, because someone has convinced us that a dream life is where you have a lot of money, you have a lot of property, you can go anywhere you want at any time, you can eat anything you want without looking at the price of the meal or whatever. So that's what many people would call a dream life. But like they say, I think life is very simple. We're the ones who complicate it. Life is meant to be really, really simple. We complicate it by our greed and our wants. So for me, dream life is really an individual's aspirations, whatever you want to achieve or to do. If you want to live off grid in the village in Kanungu, that's dream life for you. If you want to live in New York in the hustle and bustle of that city, that's also dream life for you. If you want to live in potholed Kampala, that's also fine. So I think it's relative and it's defined by the individual.
Okay, thank you. Omuchezi Rutembana, what's your dream life? Are you living your dream life currently?
Hey, I think because I don't know when many days I still have to live. So the one I'm living in, I think I'm living my life.
May we know the components? Do you care to share with us the components or the elements of your dream life you're living now?
Now, me the perspectives of life, the way I have them, is live life as simple as you can within your means, and like how actually the past discussants have been saying that life is very simple. We just complicate it because we are just all about survival, which is basically food. I will not even add shelter because you can survive without shelter. It's just basically food, and then we can even add
so
sex.
How do you survive without shelter?
There are so many people that live on the streets without houses. The rebels that are leading us lived in the bush for 5 years. Huh? So
they were rebelling against life.
Sorry?
That was a rebellion, not life. They are not living.
But they survived for 5 years. Because you see what we're talking about is that regardless of whatever or wherever we live or what, all we need to do is see the next day, see the next day, see the next day. Now, I think that the basic thing that we need for us to see the next day is food. And of course, food is a source of all things. It's medicinal. The moment you're eating the right quantities of food, then the moment you're eating the right quantities of food, your body is going to be healthy. You will not have health issues. And then food is a source of energy. Because for you to see the next day, you need to have energy. And so food basically is like the primary need of any survival. This cuts across human beings, animals, plants, and all that. We all need food as living things to survive. And when you look at science, it still rotates around the same thing. You just look at the ecosystem. It's just all about food. And I think that is the most important thing that God placed amidst us. But because we are very creative, now we start using the resources that God has given us to make other people envious. First of all, you know, when you land on those resources, you want to capitalize them, you want to own them, you want to pull them to yourself. Now, by creating scarcity on the other side, you make people think that for you to have a better life, then you need to have the resources that this person has. And then we start working towards achieving the scarce resources that we do not have. The scarce because they are scarce because there's a certain person who is holding on to the resources that everyone is supposed to share. So we start working like how Jethro was describing it. You find that 24 hours are not enough for you because you want to be like that other person. And that is the mix that we've been in. But God has provided these things in a very simple way. We can survive even without dressing. If you go to Karamoja, you find people that survive even without dressing. You can survive without shelter. You can survive as long as you have food. And that's how life is all about. The life, the living that we live at the basic level is the same living as a billionaire who is flying private jets and all that. The same thing. And the equalizer that we really need to appreciate is that at the end of it all, we die and leave them here. A billionaire's son died some time back. Then in a very tragic way. But he had everything and he just left it. You can imagine. The other day we started by discussing Diego Jota. So if we can appreciate that at the end of it all, even if you have everything, even if you have what? The equalizer is that, then we'll really appreciate that life is supposed to be that simple. Just if we can understand and comprehend that as human beings, we'll start living in a much better life. Like you see how like animals are. Just a cow just wakes up in the morning, eats its grass, drinks its water, sleeps, chews its cud, like that. And it's just, I think God had created this earth to be that simple. And probably I think even in heaven it's going to be that simple. I'm done.
Pastor Isaiah White.
As Pastor is coming. So Omuchwezi, in summary, Omuchwezi is saying living life is being able to survive today and be alive tomorrow.
Yes. Because Ariong, I can tell you, if you asked Sudhir, if let's say Sudhir was your friend, and you talked to Sudhir on that, was it Saturday morning or Sunday morning? Saturday morning, I think probably he would have said, I would rather be a Karamajong who doesn't put on clothes.
Sure.
As in that is how life. So me, I think we just need and that is what the Isaiahs are supposed to be preaching about, not preaching to people that you're going to prosper or you're going to. That is the thing that the message.
Why do you put my name in that thing? Why me? You know what I preach. Justice
But
for Isaiah. Justice for Isaiah.
Your colleague was here, the man with the white hair.
Which colleague?
Benny Hinn.
Hey.
Jethro, you live in the entire home.
I'm living a retirement home, an expensive one. Isaiah, if you can just help me, because I think most of these scripts are written because of the realities of life. You'll get old, you'll get sick, you'll have an emergency, and so those are realities of life. So how can you live like a cow, like Peterson has proposed, with these realities? Because we are more than cows. We reason better than cows. Just help me balance those two perspectives with the realities of life, sickness, disease, and other emergencies, as well as, of course, living like a cow.
Well, one of the things, personally, I was I was born in Bugorovi. That is where I was born, and the place where I was born is close to a place known as Giza Giza. Giza Giza was and I think still is a rich environment. It's like the Beverly Hills of Uganda. By that time when I was born. You guys have met Rubowa, you have come in the generation of Rubowa, Kororo, etc. But in our years, Giza Giza was, and in Bugorobi was the supreme thing. So, and we used to shop in Middle East. However, in the same locale after Middle East, there was Kiswa. There was Kiswa, a place called Kiswa. I hope you guys know there. Now,
where the primary school is, opposite that mall.
Yes, so Kiswa there, then you go towards Zimbuya, that region there. There was that region, and it is close to Bugolobi, by the way. What separates them is that thing. So there was that Kiswa. Now, as a child, I went to Bugolobi Flats Nursery School. Okay, and but there was also Kiswa Nursery School and Imbuya Nursery School. Those schools were there also. Why am I telling you my story? I'm telling you my story because, gentlemen, whether you believe in God or not, there is a God who has equalized life on planet Earth. We are just fighting him, but he has equalized it. There is always an alternative that we do not want to take against this script that is oppressing us. There is always an alternative. Wherever you are, there is an alternative. Can you believe that Kamocha is close to Kororo? How is that possible? How is that possible? I will tell you how it is possible. There is a God who equalizes life. Now, Peterson just gave us a metaphor that God had simplified life, that you can even live like a cow. He didn't actually mean that because you are not a cow, you don't even have its hide skin like it has. No, that's not what he was saying. He was trying to communicate that simplicity is a choice. But we have forgotten that simplicity is a choice. We have been told that we have no option. A tomato in Middle East, one tomato cost, I think, 200 shillings. Or 50, because by the time when I was a child, there was 5 shillings. That brown paper, I don't know whoever saw it. When I was a child, yeah. That was it 5 shillings? The brown, was it 5 shillings?
Thank
you very much. There was a ketano. That ketano could only buy 1 tomato in Middle East, but in Kiswa and in Buya, it could buy like 10 tomatoes. But people chose not to buy the tomatoes in Kiswa. Same tomato. And where do you buy from? I buy from Middle East. We have taken ourselves into slavery, just like the children of Israel did. And now we are complaining about the slave master. There is always an alternative. You can choose to live simple. you can choose to cut the cost that create consumerism in your house. We all know sugar is not healthy. We all know that. Really, let me ask you, what does it take you to ask your family not to take sugar? Because we know it is not healthy. And you train your children not to take sugar. And you can start at birth, not giving your child any sugary thing. The last sugar your child should taste should be with the breastfeeding. And then you train them all the way. And they have no problem, they won't take sugar. You can train your children not to take these processed foods to create that insatiable greed. You can. But we have decided not to. Why? Because we are copycats. What person is doing, I am doing. And then you start now being in uniform. We have a men's out. Where do you work from? In the bank. Where do you work from? In the ministry. Where do you work from? In international organization. Where do you work from? Now you create a group. You have now a WhatsApp group. Now you have an outing. You don't want to go out with Isaiahs who are riding bicycles. Do you know what you're doing? You're complicating your life. Because the life that you're creating is unreliable. You're going to fall in space after it has betrayed you. You don't have real friends. Those are not real friends. This is just a social ladder friendship. Once you fall out, they don't know you, you don't know them. True or false?
True.
Yes. This is how we die. So you find yourself, you are alone. You don't have a friend. You don't have a true friend. The people you knew them because of who you were then. Now that you are no longer that person, they don't know you. So me, I want to tell you, even in Kololo, there is an alternative. Even in Muyenga, there is an alternative. Even in the United States, there is an alternative. Thank you, moderator.
Peter can't live like a cow.
So, Pastor White, do you have a dream life?
Who, me?
Hey.
Yeah, I think I have.
When do you need to leave it?
I am leaving it.
Eh?
I am leaving it.
You're leaving it
So
to
what-
Kagame.
Hey, yes, I am leaving it to Kagari.
People are committed at night on a serious note.
Sorry?
The person who wrote the script for us,
Hey.
People are committed.
Bulungi nnyo. I'm leaving it. Do you know that? Let me give you an example, Jethro, and you see how this guy sat on our heads in Gabogambi. Eh?
Mm.
Do you know that Isaiah, who is riding a bicycle, has a freedom and a right to drive a car? And Pedson does not have the freedom and the right to ride a bicycle.
Yeah, I get you. I get you.
Okay. Praise God.
Would you say that again?
Like, we are in this colonialism and slavery to this extent. The Isaiah who rides a bicycle has the freedom, is free, and has the right to drive a car, any car. But Rutembana, who has driven for the past 15 years, has no right whatsoever to ride a bicycle. And if he does, he's going to be stopped on the way. What are you doing? Do you want to die? What happened? Why didn't you call me? You could have told me. That is Jethro telling him. You could have told him that you don't have a car. I would have given you a loan. I work in the bank. What is wrong with you, Pedson? Why are you doing this to yourself? He has no right to say, well.
Pastor, nga tukyali ku Emerald. I one time came on a boda, but I came with a helmet. And then all of you were asking, hey, waguze pichi? Waguze pichi? And then I was like, hey.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because you don't have a right to be on a boda.
You don't have a right. You have no right. The slave master does not allow you. The slave master does not allow you to get out of the slavery at any one moment. Have you noticed? Have you noticed that when we host each other these days, we are shy? We even first give an apology. Well, you guys, I want you to come to my place, but my house is a small place. It is a small place. So I just want you to come knowing. But anyway, it's okay. You guys are my friends. Do you hear that speech? So when I host you, I start now looking. Are you comfortable? Maybe you can sit here. Then you see the host is on pressure. You bring this. You bring this. They go and borrow things to keep up with the Kardashians. We are no longer natural. We are not living. Banange, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much for attending tonight. The topic has been, is life what you make it? Start living now. Access your dream life now and start living it now. Life is simple. Do not complicate it. May God bless, keep and protect you until we meet again on Monday. This is In Truth and in Spirit Well of Worship Fellowship. Only Christ alone saves. Good night.